Hi everyone, it's Jakey again, back with a new video on Sortie. This one's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to actually show a full Sortie run. We were highly successful, 6 Sapphires in one run. We will show you that and all the objectives. We did miss one chest by accident, uh, but all we need to do is kill one more mob, so it's not like uh, you're missing out on some big strategy there. Okay, so there's going to be a lot going on right at the start, so I'm going to stop here for a second and just show you on the map what we're doing. So we all start out here at S. Uh, I'm on Ranger, so my wide scan sees the whole area here, so I will immediately check if the NM is in this area. If it's not, I will then go over to the device here, teleport over to device A. I will check wide scan here again, so then we will have checked 2 of the 3 main maps for the NM. Of course, the NM can also wander into D, which is a little annoying, but I can also pretty easily just hop over here to check this D map as well if I don't see it. Then, in this run in particular, it happened to be over here amongst the ActiveXs. We will go kill the NM once we see it, and then we're heading over to A, going towards Fire Elementals. Now, in this run, because I wanted to show all the objectives, I will run around and do all the gates and get that objective. In future runs, we're probably not ever doing that objective again, unless we bring someone new who doesn't have it. While we were doing all that, we actually leave our scholar behind here at A, and they're doing basically all the A objectives solo. The I know the A chests that come from killing mobs. There's all kinds of debate about what the actual like requirements are, but a scholar just nuking them down, magic bursting, seems to work every time. So that's just what we go with, rather than worrying too much about that. Then, while the rest of the group is getting the objectives, killing fire elementals, and I have run around, opened all the doors in the correct order. Then, in this case, I found the Porksy, so we killed that. And then we head back to the A&M, and we killed that. Now, we're going to skip the B&M in this run, because if there's one boss we're going to skip, it's going to be the B one. It's the one that has the highest chance of things going wrong on. So that's one we skip. And that gives us plenty of time to do all the objectives. So here we are entering. Especially when we split up, a lot of the objectives come by very quickly. So that's why I have made a little last objective sign, as well as a counter for how many sapphires and old cases we have received. So we want the scholar to give us regen, and we want the corsair to give us bolters, so then we can get going. I've just checked wide scan. The NM is not in this area. So now I'm going to teleport to the A device. Casting Monami, which now any spell will activate that objective, and that includes calling trust. So if you're solo and you're on a job that doesn't have magic, just dismiss and call a trust there for that objective. So we're sneaking up and heading towards the Abdella, which I found on wide scan. And of course, it always thinks you're moving when you shoot. But hey, I got a skill up because, master levels. Getting the lays down and then just going to true flight these down. Now, unfortunately, our Corsair here is too busy talking and doesn't take his bolters off. And he realizes that right about now. And so we end up killing another AccuX here just to get bolters off the core so that we can all have bolters. And now we run to B. Our scholar has just gone the shard A. And we had just been telling our rune fencer to only pull them one at a time here so we can kill them quickly between the agros, because that's what the latest theory on BG Wiki involved. So, of course, had to remind him. Now here I have the very exciting job of running around opening doors, and I think if we skip this objective in the future, we will have a lot more time. It'll be a lot more efficient. But we wanted to try to do all the objectives this time. Unfortunately, we lost track of that there was one chest remaining in B that we needed to get. Uh, Not that we really needed it, but just to have them all. Right? We did complete every objective in the run before this, and there is no bonus as far as we can tell for opening every single objective. There wasn't some new like rainbow chest or something, sadly. So going forward, we're definitely going to be skipping a few of the less worthwhile objectives. So we've gone one of the chests from killing stuff here in B. I finally bothered to check wide scan. I see that the pork sea is here amongst the umbrals. Wide scan is a bit less useful in the B area since one of the maps is missing. But thankfully this map is here, so I could use wide scan this time. So our scholar has just finished the last of the 6 mobs he had to kill, and is now heading towards the A boss and picking up the objectives on the way. I've just done hooray at the B device to get that chest. Of course, I get stuck in the chest. I checked to make sure the door was actually open. So they're pulling the Borksy, and had we just pulled and killed probably one more mob, I think we would have gotten the last chest here. But oh well. The regular chests aren't worth much anyways, especially since we weren't going to do the BNM regardless, so we didn't need the metal. So here we are just blowing off the Porksy. And there's the Porksy's coffer. And there's the first Sapphire. So now we're heading back to the A boss, making sure to use sneak and bolters, of course, so that we can run faster. And while we were doing that, Scholar did in fact finish the last A objectives, which was just opening the door and then resting after going through the door. And he will meet us at the A boss. He will be there ahead of us. I think, again, if I don't do the objective where I have to open all the doors, you could probably get there a bit faster and maybe even beat him to the A boss. So the A boss, it's a pretty simple fight. Just don't do any sort of water damage. That means no darkness skill chain, no distortion skill chain, no reverberation, and no like water nukes or anything like that. Other than that, haven't really seen it cause any issues, especially if you are getting the metal and all that. We will just be savage blading it, so we don't have to worry about any unknown skill chains. Partly just because that's the strategy we use for pretty much all the fights, because several of them punish you for doing the wrong skill chains, and so it's easier just to Savage Blade. Now, whoever's here first should run forward and check that the NM is actually there. we have once had an issue of it not appearing there, but it's been reported on the forums. A number of people have run into issues with the NMs just being missing. So, no point in wasting time buffing up and having everyone else finish running here if you already know that it has not appeared. So, yeah, whoever gets here first should definitely check if the NM is there. However, make sure you do not aggro the NM or pull the NM until everyone is here, because the door on the way in closes behind you. So if everyone's not in here, they're locked out. And unlike the rest of the stuff, if you're not inside when you're fighting the enemy, you can actually potentially not get the rewards. So I did bounty shot this to get TH5, I believe, this time. I don't think TH helps at all, but may as well, right? So we're just savage blading it down. Pretty simple fight. I've pulled hate, but it's fine. And we lose our shard and metal, but we get 2k gallantry. And we're using AoE sneak and bolters. Okay, so now we're heading to C. Okay, so I should explain where we're going in C and why. So we're at A, we're skipping B, and we're just gonna head towards C. Now, to get the coffer from the roaming NM and C, which is a boot, we need to kill it within 2.5 minutes of opening one of these B gates, or teleporting into C, or presumably even coming in from the C, from the D side. That probably also starts the time limit, because the mobs don't spawn until one of those doors is opened or someone teleports in. So you have basically 2.5 minutes from when they spawn. Now, it can be anywhere in this map, anywhere in this map, and I guess theoretically it could like wander over here or something, or possibly over here. But we've pretty much always find it in one of these two maps. So what we do is we split up. Some of us go over here, and some of us go here, and then we open both those gates at the same time. The people over here also run over to hit this door and get that chest, and they'll check this map wide scan. I'll check this map wide scan. In this case, we actually find it amongst the course, and basically you want to kill it within 2.5 minutes, and if you fail to do so, you'll want to get everyone boltersed and sneaked and stuff, and you'll again want to spread out across both maps. Usually we'll kind of hang out around C3, like some on this side, some on this side, and you'll have one person go over to the device, respawn the mobs, get the NM to reappear, and you need to kill it again within 2.5 minutes of it spawning if you want to get that coffer. And coffers are, pretty much your highest priority in here. So that's what we're going to do, and that's why we spread out a bit as we're running. So here we are doing the long run over from A. Again, we're skipping B on this run. We may attempt the BNM in the future again. He's kind of annoying though. He can both steal buffs and give you any debuffs on him. However, I do believe now that we're running a Geo instead of a Bard, it should be much less of an issue. Now I could technically have teleported save some time here. The starting teleport is closer to the A boss than the other teleports are, so you can save a little bit of time by going there and then teleporting. So we open our doors at the same time. There, we just got our second sapphire from the coffer from, or the casket from opening the B gate, and that's supposed to be the last objective in B. You'll notice it says 6 of 7. That's because we missed one of the chests, but we didn't realize it at the time because we were busy, focused on trying to get this boot right away. Of course, I try to pull it to one side and it runs to the other. So. Should still easily be able to kill it in time. And there's the coffer. And no drop. So the rest of the group has opened C1 for an additional chest and is headed this way. We'll be here momentarily. And then we're going to pull all the course down to the teleporter. We only need to kill one of them down there, but since we're taking one of them down there, we may as well take them all, because the last casket that was found out for C involves killing every single trash mob in C, so they all have to die. We do have a few other objectives to also get along the way, but we decided to just go ahead and cleave the course down and get them out of the way. Now, we do end up in a little bit of a bind here where we waste a lot of time being slept. However, poison is a little dangerous against the course because they can charm people. So, I think ideally we just. I mean, the problem here really is that one of those courses just wandered back, so our scholar goes and grabs it because he's the only one in position to do so. But then he comes back with it, and then he gets caught in the sleep as well. So if he doesn't get caught in the sleep, then it's not really an issue. So this is just a don't let the mobs de-aggro. None of this be a problem. I suppose the scholar could also use sublimation as well. Also, paladin tank would have the advantage here of easily being able to wake everyone up. There, we just got a chest for the first one of them that died near the teleport here. So now we're gonna go do the magic burst objectives on the ghosts. I think they're probably the better option for that, simply because they're already spread out. So uh, that makes them less efficient to try to cleave, anyways. Now, ideally, you pull these one at a time as well, and you can get the quick kills out of the way on the same ones that you're skill chaining and magic bursting potentially. We have done that before, but if you pull multiple at the same time and then you go on the wrong targets from each other, you're not going to get that. So here we're just gonna skill chain one, magic burst it, and then kill it, but it was probably too slow. And then we're going to do the next one, at least get these out of the way, so then we can very easily do the quick kills on other ones. It's a little bit less efficient, but it's fine. These ghosts are kind of annoying, however, because of the ice spikes, of course, and they like to stop and cast, so you want to have a silence pull straight into a dispel if you can. Unfortunately, this one is aggroed, even though this will probably be the last magic burst one we need. And there's the chest. So now we need quick kills, but this one's already been aggroed, so it's going to be too slow. So we get Frail down right, or Malay is down right away. Led into True Flight with Malay's dead. And there's the casket for that. So we're 6 out of 7 now in this area. The 7th we have to kill every single mob for. So there's only a few ghosts here, so we're just gonna single target kill these. And then we're going to start the cleaving for the rest of the sea area. And there's our 3rd sapphire from that casket. I'm going to fast forward a bit while we get in position for the cleaving. So for the cleaving, we have a bunch of ghosts up here, or ghouls up here. The issue with these, they sight aggro. I'm not even sure if they sound aggro. They might be just sight. I think something's wrong there. Anyways, our tanks usually have issues aggroing all of them, which is kind of annoying. And I'm sitting here fixing some geo macros. So he has most of them here now. Just gotta get them all in position and tagged. And I'm gonna have the geo put wilt on the rune fence here, so that it's a little bit safer with this many mobs. Although that's a much more helpful trick in the foamers and D, help counter the defense down. Now, one thought I have had, barrier may actually be better for that defense down. It depends if they are additive or if they're going to multiply each other's bonuses. But wilt is pretty safe way to make things better regardless. I'll have to do some testing at some point on that. So here we are doing our cleaving. Obviously, there's some heat issues here. I think not everything got tagged, and that's also causing some of them to take a lot less damage because the Geo is just putting cure on the tank, and so if the tank doesn't have everything tagged, then not everything is taking full damage. So there's definitely some room for making this a bit more efficient. I mean, the good news here with this objective is when you have extra time at the end of the run, the only thing to do is to cleave mobs anyways. Sea mobs are actually some of the better mobs for cleaving around here. Safer to fight than the foamers, and a lot more points than the A and B mobs. So it's not too terrible to have to do this. Although obviously, low man, this is not going to be one of the objectives you're going to go for. So we just have to get the ghosts from these last 4 rooms. So here's where I realized that there's only 2 ghosts over on the other side. So I'll just run the other route and grab those 2 ghosts on my way in. Unfortunately, one of them loses aggro on the way, so it ends up being not as much of a time saver. And again, causes problems with the Scholar having to run in and getting slept. Certainly some more refinements we can do here. Also, I could totally get behind someone casting a Dispel God on these just to get rid of all the ice picks. Could probably do that with my Geo, actually. Just trying to get malaise down here. Now we can finally start making progress. I do think there's some value just in rewatching a run and seeing what mistakes you've made during the run to get better for the future. And there's the final casket. And of course, no drop. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a casket that is only worth it in the sense that, yeah, if you're gonna be cleaving mobs anyways, you may as well cleave these mobs and get the chance at an extra drop. So we're heading to the C boss now. The C boss is, we haven't seen it do anything to really punish anyone at this point. I don't know. Tell me in the comments about your horror stories of the C boss, but for us, we just Savage Blade, and it doesn't really do anything. It spams a Cruel Joke, but it doesn't doom you. I suspect if you don't have the metal, perhaps it does doom you then, and given how much it spams that ability, I could see that being an issue. But with the metal, at least the Cruel Joke does not actually doom you. Doesn't even really curse you. All it does is lower your movement speed. And it doesn't really do much of anything. So here I realize I've been running without hover shot this whole time. Could have had slightly stronger Savage Blades. Actually, probably doesn't matter because I'm attack capped anyways. But Here, the tank actually was not the first one to get aggro on it, unfortunately. Put TH5 on. And just waiting for it to get against a wall because, of course, everything has a knockback. So we always have to have our backs against a wall just permanently in this game now. Since this is an easy fight, I guess I'll get into a tangent about my complaints about knockback. I think knockback is a good mechanic to have in the game. I think fights should have knockbacks, but they shouldn't spam it to the point that you feel the need to put your back against a wall at all times. It should be, oh, it does one or two knockbacks over the course of the fight, so you may have to reposition once or twice and make it a little bit more annoying for multi-boxing. That should be the extent of it. Perhaps I do think Lilith was a little bit more, at least did something interesting with knockback. I did not love the knockback on every single move, but at least with being unable to put your back against the wall and having fetters to avoid, it makes it interesting. Here, again, Sapphire plus old case from this guy. We're having a really good day in terms of drops. So, we're on our way to D. Okay, so our strategy for D. Everyone else is going to run over here and then head towards D1. I, however, am going to teleport. Well, I'm gonna run over to C and teleport to the D device, and that way I can check this map for wide scan for the NM. They'll be checking this map for the wide scan NM. When they open this door, they can also check this map, and I can pretty easily hop over and check this map because most commonly, if it's not in one of the D maps, it'll be in this A map. So that way we can find the NM quickly and figure out how we want to go about fighting it. The foamers are tricky. You need both sneak and invis. They link like crazy. And they can be quite dangerous. Depending which weapon the NM happens to have, he can potentially one-shot people. So, you got to be careful. I will actually pull and start to solo the NM this time, but that's because he's just using a club. If he was using a weapon that I considered more dangerous, I would just shadow bind it and hold it. Also, by going here and there, we can do the D1, D2 objective, as well as get the device D dropping the entry item objective. Now, one of the nice things about this run is because we've cleared out the entire C area of all mobs, don't actually need sneak and invis, at least until we get to the foamer. It was at this point that we realized that our red mage had forgotten sneak, so now they're busy having to kite around foamers and hope to lose them before any problems happen. Here I find the NM, and since I'm here, I go ahead and drop the exit item. Now, I should warn you, if you accidentally use that item instead, you exit the zone extraordinarily quickly. Much quicker than pretty much any other exit item I've ever. To be careful with that. Now they've already opened the other door, so I open that door and get that chest. And now I'm on my way to the NM to see if there's a safe pull available. There are a few tricks you can use to try to safely pull in here. Summoners doing the classic Carby pull of send in Carby, wait for Carby to die. All the links go idle. The mob it had been targeted on will come to you. Actually works extraordinarily well. So summoners are not a bad option in here if you're worried about links. Of course, if you bring an actual tank, they can just hold a ton of mobs, no problem. These Fulmer, they do not lullaby or anything, so you do have somewhat limited options. But here he's now moved, so I can get a safe pull. So I'm going to go ahead and get the safe pull while I can and run him back. Now I was going to just run it back close to the teleport and then shadow bind it. But as the rest of the group has managed to get themselves lost, and the scholar here is telling me to just go ahead and kill it, and it is only with a club this time, I decide to just go ahead and try to kill it. Once I have the right bubble down, of course. So now we get the true flights going. I do try to keep shadows up because this NM is somewhat dangerous. And I do feed a lot of TP with Kraken Pups. And yay, the rest of the group is caught up to us. And here's the gold Aurum coffer. And another Sapphire in old case. This is an insane run for drops now. So now we're headed to the one party room that's between us and the D boss, because we want to go do the D boss as well. And we can complete all other objectives on a single party. So that's what we're going to do. So the remaining D objectives are to kill a full party. Kill 3 mobs after having killed the boss. That's the coffer one. Kill 3 mobs after having done 4-step skill chains on them. And we have to do that one twice for both chests, which is what we need in order to do the D boss. And then the final casket, which was relatively recently discovered, is we have to kill them in a specific order, which is basically the order in which the jobs appear on your job list. So, warrior first. Now, this poll actually works out really well because the first 4 jobs are actually the ones that were pulled. And we just Aeolian spam to make it simple. But by Aeolian spamming, we have to worry about their HP, which is why we're not using a malaise right now. We're just trying to get our 4-step and then kill afterwards. So if we pull all the mobs, the last ones run out of HP. That's the only problem. There are other options, of course, but this just keeps it simple. Now, here it gets a little scary because, for whatever reason, the Rune Fencer doesn't seem to have hate on the monk, and the monk is messing me up. Now, I could totally solo these skill chains with Kraken Club, but we do like to just have 2 going back and forth. Gives you a little bit more leeway, especially when TP gets stolen occasionally. So there we just got the coffer for having killed 3 mobs since the boss. And then we also got the chest for having killed 3 mobs that we did 4-step skill chain on. So that worked out well. And here's where it gets a little bit complicated because we just had TP stolen. But we've already completed our objective, so. We got an old case. And here I go ahead and drop Malaise because we're down to just one mob left. And it's at basically full HP, so we're good to go. Here we actually missed one because I didn't expect them to miss two in a row in terms of TP gain. I don't know what happened. But we have plenty of HP left, so we'll still easily finish the skill chain. And there we are. We got the chest for the 4-step. We got the 2 caskets for full party and the jobs in the correct order. And of course, more old case. And there they invised bubbles before they had dismissed the bubbles, so then I had to re-invis. Slow them down slightly. But still more than enough time to kill the boss. So, and we've completed 7 for 7. It is interesting that they list it as 7 for 7 on all 3 of the objectives that were completed at the same time. So the D boss, the trick here is every weapon skill it does has some element tied to it, and you have to cast nukes and the element strong to that in order to get a blue proc. If you don't get a blue proc, it gets a stacking DT buff every time. And so if you're not getting those blue procs, it just is taking damage by the time it's low. So I suppose that perhaps you could do some kind of a low TP strat as well and try to get around it that way. But it's simple enough to just proc it. Now we have both the Scholar and the Red Mage nuking it. The Scholar seems to be getting most of the procs, perhaps because they're using higher tier nukes. Perhaps it's simply that you need more than one. Further testing will no doubt be done. Could just be random as well. It might not be 100% guaranteed procs. We will be 2-houring here. I do note that given that we have Bravo now for the remainder of the run, there's not really a reason to be using Indie Haste at this point. Should probably switch that to something else. Given that we will kill this with time to spare, and we will go and cleave foamers Probably should have gone at least with a wilt for the foamers. Make those a lot safer. Here, I don't think wilt would help you on this fight. I think he does all magic damage, so. I don't know, probably just something to increase damage more. Maybe a fury. Now, of course, since it will absorb the wrong elements and you want to be proccing it, you don't want any skill chains of the wrong elements happening, so easiest just not to skill chain again. Like, everyone complains about savage blading all the things. It's not necessarily the highest damage for all content, it's just there's so much content right now that punishes you for skill chaining incorrectly that it's just so much easier just to have everyone Savage Blade. And this one, it changes elements every time it weapon skills, so it's just not practical to try and do something else. Another Sapphire and another old case. And we're just gonna gather up all the nearby foamers and try to Aeolian edge as many of them as we can before the time runs out. Now, the danger with these, again, is their defense down. I think it's like a 90% defense down or something insane. They get one of those off on your tank, and all of a sudden your tank starts to melt. So that's why I'm thinking I should probably be switching Indie Haste for an Indie Wilt. And again, like I mentioned earlier, depending how it stacks with the defense down, there's the possibility that the barrier might actually be. So I did it in Trust and Indie Wilt here. But I think since I don't need the Indie Haste, should just do a full powered Indie Wilt and I don't know, and Trust Acumen or something. And of course the animation lock. Now we get the Aeolians going. Again, I think some of the mobs aren't quite properly tagged. It's good enough. You don't really have much time left. So yeah, like this warrior, there's no way Malaise was tagged on it. And having to cast a new Malaise. And I see that other than the warrior that I just cast Malaise on, none of the others are taking damage, so they're not all being properly tagged. Still, though, an amazing run. You know the run is over when the Japanese writing shows up. So here's our total for the day. Uh, great run. I know some people have already made it over 20K. Uh, Honestly, I mean, yes, there was certainly room for improvement. I pointed out a lot of that room along the way. Uh, but this is fine. I mean, we're going to have all of our MP gear plus two very shortly, probably over halfway through all the pieces I want at this point. Uh, and most of what's left isn't even like significant boosts. Uh, the real problem here is I've only seen one old case plus one in all my runs. Uh, and even all these old cases, I didn't get any plus one earrings out of these. And even if I did, it probably wouldn't be for a job I play. I play 10 jobs. So the earrings are definitely uh, the main thing holding us back. And I don't know, I mean, I might do a video shortly on the augments for the earrings because those are amazing. But with the best augments really limited to the plus two earrings, and the plus two earrings being nearly non existent. I mean, that's part of why I can't do that augment video yet, because two of the plus two earrings we still don't know the augments for, because no one has reported receiving those earrings anywhere. So I really hope they come up with a better way of getting these earrings, because right now it doesn't even seem worth trying for more than an NQ, maybe a plus one earring for the jobs you care about, because you're gonna have all your MP stuff upgraded soon, and then you'll just be missing earrings. I don't even have NQs for all my jobs yet, because I keep rolling like my fourth Puppet Master earring. Oh, and one other big problem as we continue to farm our MP gear so quickly, the slips aren't available yet for MP plus two. My inventory is getting absolutely murdered. I mean, all my all my wardrobes are now full, and I'm just starting to fill up my normal inventory. I could buy the last wardrobe, which I haven't bought yet, but I'd really rather not. The idea of buying a wardrobe just for gear, which I should just be able to put in a slip, but for whatever reason, Square Enix hasn't gotten around to giving us a slip yet, just seems awful. Hopefully that'll get fixed next month, but I mean, we haven't seen anything official saying one way or the other. Anyways, thanks for checking out my video. Uh, Let me know if you've got some crazy strat you think we should be trying out, or if you find some way of getting earrings more consistently, because right now it's not bearable. Anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.